This is Jane Hoffman, the host of Political Gravity. I've had a busy day and I haven't combed my hair or put on lipstick. So just call me the new Pamela Anderson. Anyways, I have Don on the air already, and we are going to begin our topic. Our second topic is the main one. It's about how Manuel Noriega ruled with an iron fist in Panama for at least 5 years. Coming off the hinges of the CIA, he was an informant for many years, but then when his power rose and he defeated all his surrounding powers, then he outsmarted the CIA in an election in 1989, which pissed off American intelligence, and they tried to run a counterintelligence to prove that he mishandled his opponents. But Noriega was one step ahead of the American intelligence community, so he kept ruling for another number of years until they cornered him and captured him. And he actually hid out at a Vatican for about 8 months, and then they offered to give him his military uniform and step out and surrender, and that's the way he went down. He didn't die. He went to prison 40 years, and he died in 2017 of cancer. So once I get more of my hosts on the line, I'm going to discuss that, because now President Trump was eyeballing Panama and thought about overtaking it again when there's already been bloodshed. The Panamanians lost 514 people in that battle and 23 special ops Americans. Now, the second humorous topic, which people don't find so humorous, and I will let Don in a minute, is Facebook. They have now, I want to tell you a little story. There was this really overweight girl, like dancing in a bikini, and I put a comment down on Instagram that she was too fat. And I got kicked off the website for 12 hours. And then they like slapped my hand and said, be nice. Well, now Mark Zuckerberg is lifting the ban on two important elements in society. People are allowed to call women property and household objects, and people are allowed to call gay people freaks and trans people freaks. So I'm glad I got this information out on the air before one of our co-hosts called in, who's highly anti-LGBTQ. So with that, I'm going to pull in Don and get some of his feedback. So hi, Don. Is it already scaring you that Trump is mentioning overtaking countries and has other shady plans coming up after January 20th? How do you react to this type of behavior? Wait a minute, Don. Suzette?
Yeah.
I have Don on hold.
All right.
Don, you're on hold now. Suzette's on the line.
Okay, no problem.
So, Don, you're not on hold anymore. Could you comment on what I just said before I bring Suzette looped into the topic?
Well, I mean, there is a part of colonialism that is in the agenda, especially Project 2025. So it's not surprising that any country is not completely, not accessible to personally his own agenda, because he wants to be, kind of a dictatorial person. But there are a lot of things that he has, he just doesn't understand. And one of the things is his own administration. So that's what we have to deal with first. And then Panama, Canada, Mexico, anybody who wants to take over, he can do that. But, that's going to be, he's going to have to do it in 2 years, because after that, he's not going to have a chance. has to have his way at will.
Okay, let me bring thank you for the answer. Let me bring Suzette up to speed. I watched a documentary on Manuel Noriega and how he wrestled with the U.S. government for over a year when Daddy Bush was in office, and how he managed to take control of the country even after he was a CIA operative. And then he kept the power, and the U.S. was failing until they tried to overturn an election that they couldn't. And then eventually Noriega knew the U.S. was after him, so he hid out in a Catholic sanctuary. And then eventually he decided to surrender. So that topic involves countries that we discussed last week that Donald Trump is looking at to overtake. And then the second topic was Facebook. They have now approved calling women household objects and property, and calling trans and gay people freaks. Mark Zuckerberg made an announcement about it. So what do you think of that?
Well, I know as far as fixing the Panama Canal, we also have the canal in Texas, as far as transporting stuff. So, that's, and it's better than the one in Panama that was built in Texas. So
Really? Really?
Panama, huh?
I didn't know that.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So I'm not harping on the topic again that Trump wants to overtake Panama and Greenland. Actually, I heard something weird this week. I heard that Greenland wants to fight their ties to Denmark, like they want to become totally independent. But so Texas has some kind of accessibility, like through the Gulf, that wouldn't even be affected by Panama. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Yes. And as far as Facebook goes, from another call. Facebook goes, I don't think they approved being able to call people.
Actually, he did. There's a video.
He says, okay, so everybody can call each other retards and freaks and whatever.
I was telling Don that 2 weeks ago I called this really overweight model who was just JQ citizen. I called her, she's too fat to model, and I got knocked off Instagram for 12 hours. And then Facebook, here, let me just see. I want to see if you guys can hear this a minute. Not. Hold on.
It's very low.
Millions of people. And we've reached a point.
Okay, well, there's another video where he says he's going to allow people to call women property or household objects. And there's also another contingency that they can call trans and gay people freaks. I played the wrong video, so to speak, but did you guys hear me what he said about fact checkers? That they're going to play, it's going to be like a community organization that's going to shout out to people who are inappropriate. Could you guys answer?
Yeah, Jay.
What?
I'm a black man. We call all women household item names.
All right, here's a famous.
That's how we talk, baby. I'm sorry.
So if I call you Bugaboo, which is a twisted version of that other black name,
Right.
I mean, is that okay?
No, no.
I didn't say it was okay. I said we do it all the time. I don't say.
What? What are you laughing about? If I was black, I could say, "What's up, my you know what? What's up, my N-word?" But I can't.
I would never use that word. I tell everybody I'm a youth mentor, and I tell all my youth, and they listen. I tell them I do not use that word. You should not use that word, and they stop using the word. It's something that's a psychological thing that points to everything. You know, the racism that has been built into the society that we live in. So, you know, there's whatever you guys are talking about, you know.
All right, we're calling you.
He goes, it's going to be like Twitter. So, you know, somebody posts an article or a story or something, and somebody goes, that's propaganda, it's lies, or whatever. And so that person will comment, and another person will comment, and then as far as the original article, and then it'll be determined whether or not, you know, it's misinformation, disinformation type thing, to get people involved.
Well, I don't.
So,
you know, John gets kicked off of Facebook once a week, even when he puts X's in his words. Pianke, we got. I called Pianke while Don was talking. We have 3 hosts on the air now.
okay.
Meda said there will be no more censorship.
We heard that's what we're talking about right now. Including people call.
So you're free to talk all night long if you want.
No, we're free to say anything, whether it's right or wrong or correct.
We could rectify everything if we rescind Citizens United. All that money and all that work that goes into making all that money is killing our country, and it's making us lazy because we don't have an opportunity to research our candidates, research who we're giving our $1 to when we turn in our taxes voluntarily, and then make sure that everybody is playing on the same playing field. That's right. That's what we'll That's right, Don. Citizens United. That's right, Don. That's your acceptance speech. For the world.
Bill Clinton never cheated on Hillary, just so you know.
No, they were all in it together, so they weren't cheating. Everybody.
No, I'm gonna put that on Facebook and see what people say.
Yeah, they were gangbanging everybody.
Will you shut up, Don? You missed the point.
Bill Clinton kind of I'm sorry.
What I'm saying is we could all say bald-faced lies, and who's gonna refute us?
We don't lie. And Bill Clinton's got a black baby.
I know, it was in the movie Primary Colors when John Travolta played him. My black baby's from Bill Clinton. Well, I guess that doesn't make sense.
So they're going to have, I mean, the community guidelines as far as any type of bullying or, you know, something like that to that effect. But it's not going to be as strict as basically, you know, an article, political article, that somebody reports and that's automatically taken down and you're put in Facebook jail. So it's going to be more moderate than it has been in the past.
The 2 times I was booted off Instagram, the situation was so minor, it was laughable.
Exactly. And he had talked about the filters that were used for that and the algorithms, and so they'll be tweaking those systems so that won't happen. You know, as he said, it's not going to be perfect, but you know, it's still a work in process and whatnot.
Do you think the main thing is though, Suzette? I think Mark Zuckerberg is conforming to the current times. Because JD Vance is the big proponent for women staying at home, raising their kids, not working outside the home. I mean, a lot of those themes come from JD Vance.
Well, and a lot of conservatives in general. I mean, and just most people, if they could stay home and be at home with their kids rather than having to work because of the economic situation, and that has been and is. So you have to have at least two parents working in the home nowadays. I mean, or outside the home.
Financially, that's true.
We need a platform where we can say anything. You go to church and the preacher lie all the time.
Well, you're on YouTube, so watch yourself still. I went to a funeral Saturday, and the person died of alcoholism through and through. He purposely drank himself to death, and the preacher whitewashed the whole sermon and said he got saved at an early age and that he's going to heaven. And his 85-year-old dad orchestrated who was going to speak, which was his own preacher, what was going to be said, and what was not going to be said.
Oh, wow.
And it was a damn lie.
Yeah, nobody wants to hurt anybody's feelings. They don't want it because the truth hurts, and that's too bad and unfortunate.
And there was no time for anyone to get up and say anything about the deceased.
When you die, you have no conscience, no recommends. Just
Yes.
like it was before you was born.
Well, I actually had a discussion with somebody about that. Some Christians believe you go straight to heaven. Some Christians believe you're dead in the ground until the judgment day. Who has a squawking dog in the background? It sounds like a squawking dog on a computer. It must be Don because he muted himself.
I don't hear anything.
I've been muted for a minute.
Are you at a meeting with the NAACP and there's 400 people in the room?
No, I'm at home just getting out of my bathtub, my bubble bath.
Well, the bubbles were making noise.
That's your ears. Your phone temporarily went into an echo mode. I don't know if that might have been what you heard or something like that, but it was brief and it was kind of an echo like the old times, like the last week. So you might want to check that out.
Well, I'm using a different phone this week, Bubba.
Well, I don't know what it was, but it wasn't me.
Tell me when you hear it again.
What?
Let us know if you hear it again.
Okay. So, Suzette and Bianca, now it sounds like somebody's brushing their teeth down a drain. Anyways, that's creepy.
It's coming back again. That's the echo.
It's not my phone, mother fecal.
It could be another phone, or it could be. I mean, you're getting ready to get cut off just because I said Jane Bay. So what do you think? Your phone's tapped and you're getting ready to get thrown
Okay,
off.
I want to tell you guys something, okay? So there's a Netflix series called Spy Ops. It covers like CIA operations in other countries that, like where they had delicate situations and they had to fix them. And one series was about an Afghani leader that trusted the Americans fully and they trusted him. And he was taken out by the Taliban. And then the one I watched 2 nights ago was on Manuel Noriega, who started out as a small-time CIA operative in Panama and rose to key leadership and then became the president. And the U.S. was mad that he betrayed them, because he was an informant. So he was technically working both sides. He was working our side by feeding us info, and he was working on the Panamanian stronghold to block the U.S. out. So there was a female CIA lady who used to go jogging every day, and she would go up to the Panamanian compound, where the leadership lived, and she would find out bits and pieces of information. Well, eventually the CIA people down there decided to create a campaign strategy that would exploit Noriega, saying that he was hiding votes and concealing votes and not lying about the counts. So they got a hold of the radio airwaves and was putting counter information in the radio airwaves. Well, then at the day of the election, everybody voted, and then a violent match started between the opposition and Noriega and the supporters. And the supporters of Noriega was targeting Americans who had lived in Panama a long time and weren't necessarily political. And there was a lot of bloodshed. And then the U.S. took a radical move through George Bush Sr. and decided to imprison Noriega, but they couldn't find him for a month. And then he hid out in a Catholic safe house, it was kind of like the Vatican, but not exactly. He was there for a month. They knew exactly what bedroom he was in, and they started sending protesters over to his window. Well, then eventually he felt the pressure, and the female CIA officers got a hold of his girlfriend, Vicky, and they tapped their phone calls, and it was determined that he had too much pride to surrender. So they brought over his military uniform and pressed it and washed it and ironed it, and he surrendered with his hands up, and they took him to a prison, and then he served in Panama and France, and he didn't get released till 2016, and then he had cancer in 2017 and he died. So he was almost in prison for 40 years. But the moral of the story is that the Americans regretted, maybe it is me, the Americans regretted intervening in that situation because it caused too much hardship. Does anybody have any comments?
That's not the story of Noriega.
Well, it was on this documentary.
That's a made-up story. They forced Noriega out of the house by playing loud music, which drove him nuts.
Yeah, they had protesters there who they protested round the clock so he couldn't get any sleep. Okay? So it's a similar story. I just didn't tell every detail. So I don't think the U.S. should retry to take Panama. That's the moral of the story.
Well, they're supposed to have been able to defend Panama.
Well, no, there was an agreement that after 50 years it's going to be theirs, and then they postponed it again. So the war ended, and Jimmy Carter made an agreement with them in 76 or 77, and then George Bush overthrew the Noriega government in 89, and then I know there was going to be another transfer of power, but it got delayed a few years, to my understanding. I don't have that fact in front of me.
There's a movie on it called Panama Deception.
I'm surprised you know more about it than me.
Maybe I used to be a CIA man.
I thought you were building buildings in the U.S. Well, while we're on the topic, you guys, what's your feeling about there was a priest killed in El Salvador several years ago, and the Catholic safe houses have played a major role in government being destroyed. So, Suzette or Don, how do you feel about leaders and other political operatives hiding out in safe houses like the church?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't scoff at Bianchi being a CIA operative. The best operatives are those in the contracting and constructing industries, and also engineers. They have access to all of the schematics of everything. So they're perfect spies, perfect operatives for any government, for whatever it is. That's any government. And now, what was the question? Because in all essence,
I was just wondering how you guys feel about. It doesn't matter who, whether it's a good guy or a bad guy, but a lot of time people get clemency by hiding out in Catholic safe houses. So
we do it all the time here in Nevada because we are a welcoming city, and I've personally been involved in trying to develop safe house in Catholic and or Unitarian Universalists, and those are basically. There's one other, but back in the DACA days, safe houses were
cool.
necessary.
I'm holding a movie up on the YouTube screen. It's called Romero. Oscar Romero, who is a Salvadorian priest, he started out apolitical and only caring about his job and his security. He became a leader in El Salvador, and he paid the ultimate price of dying for his beliefs. So I'm sure. Yeah, he was a priest, and he got killed trying to protect the people.
He was a special kind of priest. He was a Judas priest.
All right, I watched the movie and I loaned it to my pastor.
And I told you never look at movies. Movies are.
This is a documentary, Baba.
Okay, well, I don't give a damn.
Well, you're not on Facebook and you didn't see the Bob Dylan movie, so I consider you a social outcast.
I am outcast like a motherfucker.
But you do provide a lot of civilian leadership in your community, so I'll forgive you.
Yeah, that's the whole point. I don't follow. It's not necessary to follow people. Lead. I've been a leader all my life. I was coaching youth athletics when I was 17 years old.
We know.
Well, it was something that's inbred, and it's satisfying when you can determine your own fate and develop your own freedom. And so that's something that it's a feeling that you're whole. You've got everything.
Because you're serving the community.
You're serving your community, serving yourself, you're serving your family, you're serving God. So you're serving everyone that's, and God as you know it. And that's one of the things that keeps peace and relieves stress. You can look at the world with open eyes and see what's going on around you because you don't have any elements that are clogging your mind, clogging your sight, because your sight comes from your brain, that comes from your mind. What you see is, everyone sees something different.
Suzette's calling back in. Suzette, you're back on the air. I didn't even know you dropped.
Is she back?
Oh, God is great. God is good. Let him bless us for our food.
Amen. Suzette, are you on the air? I let you back in, Suzette. Okay. I'm only operating on one phone, so now I gotta look in my messages. Hold on. Why did you say that prayer? Why did you say that prayer?
I learned it from the Judas priest.
Well, you know that book I wrote on the Milwaukee 14? Suzette? Suzette? You know that book I wrote on the Milwaukee 14? They were all from a different order. One was a Benedictine. One was from the Franciscans. Another one, I don't have it in front of me right now, but one was from the Oblate, Mary Oblate order or something like that. So anytime someone joins the priesthood, they get to choose which order they're joining. Suzette? She said that she was, I'm going to read her message. Can you guys hear me? Oh, wait, John's calling in. John, can you hear us?
So far, so good.
Yeah, so we have maybe Suzette, Bianchi, and Don on the air. I'm having a hard time communicating with Suzette. So I might have to call her back on my land phone. So we're discussing right now, we were discussing Noriega and his leadership in Panama that was eventually overthrown by the U.S. government, and how he was put in a prison 40 years but lived. And then we were talking about Oscar Romero, the El Salvadorian priest that got killed trying to protect the civil rights. And then Bianchi was talking about different Catholic orders, like the Oblates, Franciscans, Benedictines, those type of people. So we're just kind of just having a regular conversation. Oh, and to pique your interest, because you often get booted, Mark Zuckerberg announced that you can now call trans people freaks on Facebook, and you can call women household objects or property.
Well, that's rather appropriate, except for the women. We should respect women. So you guys didn't talk at all about Trudeau resigning today?
We haven't gotten to that yet. We were talking about foreign policy.
Or Trump, well, that's next door to us. Or Trump wanting to rename the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America, or buying Greenland.
We covered Greenland last week. The whole show was on Greenland.
Wow. Well, it's and LA's burning down, so it's burning down to the ground.
What do you mean? Is there a fire?
Well, today they called it the highest alert, fire watch, because there's we had a lot of rain the year before, which created a lot of vegetation, but this year it's been dry, and we had not near record winds, about 70 to 80 miles an hour, coming from the Grapevine down through, like Topanga Canyon, Malibu, and they do this every year. It always has this fires, end of the world thing going on. And of course, it happened today. Pacific Palisades is in blaze. They've actually threatened, they've closed the 10 at Lincoln, basically from Santa Monica to Palisades, it's closed. And they're actually asking people from Montana north on the street, Montana, right by the promenade, basically evacuate, and those below that to hold position but be ready to leave. Now, personally, I think they're overreacting, because it would have to, there's asphalt here. There's not like the canyons where it's all grass and dirt. We're talking, like green lawns and the fire departments that are here. But anyway, everyone's freaking out like it's Armageddon.
Did you know Joan lives close to Rancho Palos Verdes?
Yes, and I think she'll be fine. I think San Pedro's going to be fine. I think Manhattan, I think Santa Monica's going to be fine. But people have to have something to go crazy about. And who knows? Maybe some ambers will fly to a roof. I think more likely some pyros are going to get excited and throw a few matches. I think that's what usually happens.
That's terrible.
Hey, John, how you doing?
Hey, Don, are you staying cool in Snowville?
Absolutely. I'm cool. I am the snowbill.
Yes. You're the snow day.
I gotta let Suzette in now. Just a minute, you guys.
All right.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, John. So what's happening down there? I heard there were fires. I heard the high winds.
I'm adding you in.
Can you hear me all right?
Suzette's in here now. All right, Don and John, you got cut off for a minute. I had to let Suzette back in. So repeat what you said, you guys.
No, I was just saying that there's no way that fire can come from Palisades up to Lincoln. There's anywhere up to this Manhattan, none of those things. There's no fire coming in anywhere up there.
No, because a fire wants, for this kind of situation, a fire wants a couple things. It wants grass that is like 12 inches to 2 or 3 feet tall that hasn't been mowed in in a year, which is what's happened with the Topanga Canyon, Malibu, all that area. And it wants mountain ranges where people, firefighters can't get to it, where there are no. Right. Well,
There've been 3 major fires through Topanga in the last 5 years.
Well, that's because it's more money this way. I figured with all these hundreds of millions of dollars, why can't they every half a mile put a water tank? Why can't they all year round have these prisoners that we feed? Have them go out there and work the field, and every 500 yards you clear it out, and so there's nothing to burn. And you give them a day off of their sentence for every day they work. And if they try to run away, you shoot them dead. That's just, that's the security. People are like, oh, they could run away. Well, then you shoot them dead. And if you really want to pay back to society, you'll clear these fields. You'll save us hundreds of millions of dollars. And they'll have the water tanks out there. Build a couple of roads, like transportation roads or something, like just simple dirt roads that they maintain. That just makes sense to me. I mean, will it take a few million? Sure. But how much is this going to cost? I bet you it's going to be in billions, I bet, by the time it's done.
The one thing is that you keep forgetting that there is no rehabilitation after they have put in their years of slavery. I've been there, done that. So,
well, we like that, Steve.
That's where you're going to come up with. That's where the programs are that save our country instead of making everyone virtually a criminal for life who's been a criminal.
Well, it would give all the rich white elite the power again of having poor slave labor, Mexicans and blacks and whatever. And then on the other side, there's no way. I mean, a fire is going to have a really hard time going on green lawns, on asphalt. It just doesn't work really well. So yeah, Santa Monica I think is safe.
No,
but they gotta panic. They gotta panic.
But you're yeah, and I don't think that anybody. You're right though. It's probably a scam. It's some kind of a overreaction. And I don't know what the take is going to be because virtually every overreaction, every governmental agency and reason for being a governmental agency is to take money. So when you say that other thing about the, what you say, something about roads and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
There are policies, contracts in place that are for that, but the money never gets there because it stays in somebody's pocket.
Oh, no. Well,
and you're missing the point that virtually all of these business owners, I'd probably say 55, 60% of them are criminals. They are white collars.
That's true. So I've had 2 people call me this evening. One lives in Santa Monica by about 14th and Olympic. So it's kind of, Santa Monica heading towards the pier. And another one who lives in that same area, now that I think of it. One of them is a soldier. he is in a bunker, if you can believe, because he has friends that are military. He's a former military. He's like, oh, we're here, like secure from the fire. And he's calling, are you okay? Are you all right? Now I'm like mid Wilshire. I'm like by La Brea Tar Pits, Hollywood. Like we're so far away from that.
I was gonna say, where you are and where you just intonated are like 3 miles away from each other. You must have been on the phone.
Oh yeah, and then the other person, she lives in Santa Monica, and she's asking me for escape routes. Like, will I be able to take the trains? What do you recommend? And all this stuff. I'm like, just relax, chica. But I mean, if you really feel bad.
Does she have a car?
Oh, sorry?
Does the lady have a car?
She used to, but she doesn't. But she's right. She's like 2 blocks away from the rail that goes from Santa Monica Pier up to down to downtown LA. I said, well, if you're really that panicked, get on the train, go to downtown, 7th and Metro. From there, there's an exchange. Go to take the line going to San Pedro or Long Beach. I don't know if it's a Gold Line or whatever it is. Just follow the signs. You'll be so far away, but I said you're just wasting your time. It's just panic. It's hysteria.
So can I just verify if Suzette came? Is Suzette currently on the line?
Susie.
I hope it didn't drop again. I just let her back in.
Oh man.
Bianchi, are you there? Bianchi?
You call over bedtime.
Are you in the Gulf of Bianchi?
Would you call it Uber?
Oh, Suzette hung up. If they turn it into the Gulf of Trump, I'm gonna put rat poison in the water.
So that'll get you taken off air.
It will.
Hell. It's like, which one did she go to target first? And they're already, deployed.
Now, since I'm not on BTR tonight, we're on YouTube. Suzette dropped the call.
Again, okay.
The first time she dropped it because she said she couldn't get herself off speaker. And the second time she said she was gonna bow out.
Wow. Take it easy on her. She's my sweetheart.
She's my best friend. She's the voice of reason.
Tell her we said bye.
She's married, and her husband wears a size 20 shoe.
John and I were just there a few weeks ago, and
she isn't going anywhere. That's the one thing I know. So I don't know.
Yeah,
that was a really bad joke, John. Did you mean it how I think you meant it?
She meant that she can't walk away.
You fucker. Did you know she listens to the... Did you know she listens to the archive?
I know. I love Suzette. We're cool about stuff. It's like that's the reality. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, just stop there.
Yeah, no, she's my. I mean it like she's my girl, but she's married, so.
The last time I was driving to Ontario,
the best ones are taken. That's all I can say. The best ones are taken.
That's true in Minnesota too. The cute cop and the math teacher are taken.
But that's true everywhere because in America anyway, and it's worse sometimes places in the world. But women are right now 8-1 to men. So there's going to be a problem with taken or untaken men.
Okay, someone talk a minute. I gotta text Suzette.
All right, you got it. Yeah, John.
It's just you and me, Don. Oh, is Bianchi there still?
Yes.
Bianchi's still here.
Oh, let's talk to Bianchi now.
He's in the bay of
Now you guys are going to be able talk to anybody, anything you want for a couple of years, and you're going to be good.
Bianchi lives close to the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah, well, that's going to be the Gulf of America. I don't mind it. Sounds pretty good to me.
You know, it's just somebody has marbly speech. Leave it to be the Gulf of Mexico. It's close to Mexico. It's on their coastline.
It's on our coastline too.
Well, I'm tired of the stupid geography of Donald J. Trump.
He hasn't started yet. He just got a second term. You're gonna see some more geography. You know, I forgot to mention Greenland, so sorry about that. And he does have eyes on getting
Panama.
possibly.
We already had a whole show on Greenland. Remember? There's only 56,000 people live there. That's half the size of. That's about 2 times the size of White Bear Lake, Minnesota.
Right. Well, the bottom line is that Denmark may be happy to absolve themselves of Greenland's responsibility. That may be a burn on their economy, trying to keep their property, going. So they might be eager to get rid of Greenland.
Well, if you think about it, we have limited thinking. We think, oh, there's the United States, there's Mexico, here's Canada. This is the way the world is. No, a couple hundred years ago, it was like France and England, and then a couple, 1,000 years, it was Native Indians. It's like the world is constantly evolving, and strengths and weaknesses emerge. So. You got Canada, they're under the crown of England, actually. It's not Canada, it's
right,
England.
It's part of the Queen. It used to be Queen Elizabeth's property, but now it's King of England.
Right, so we question.
John, you've been listening to me. It sounded pretty good just then.
Yes,
the British royal family owns more land than the Catholic Church. They're tied practically.
Right. So if you look at the big picture, and Trump's looking at the big picture, otherwise we'd all be speaking with the British accent and, curtsying to the Queen or whatever, this would be a Pocahontas land. So you just have to go with the flow of how life works, and taking the Panama Canal or he's not like trying to conquer Russia, but he's trying to wheel and deal. He's not going to send nukes at people. He's like offering money and business deals.
Can I say something? In 1853, Russia invaded the Crimea about 150 years before they did it the second time. So a lot of world history recycles itself.
Right. Some people do it with weapons. Some people do it with money. So Trump's a money guy. I like that way instead of blowing up a country like Ukraine or these other places where they decimate, like Syria, Lebanon, or how about the Gaza Strip? They're just making it just a pit, a dirt pit is what they're making it. It's crazy.
It's pretty bad.
Let's send all the blacks to Greenland.
That would include you. That's a creepy thing to say, Bianchi.
Oh, they want their own land.
Well, why don't you ask Don how he feels about that?
No, we want our own land, but we want our own land like Beverly Hills.
No.
That's just we built
you won't have to cut no grass.
Yeah, but we don't mind cutting grass. All of our ancestral records say that we're farmers and laborers. Every single one of them was a farmer or a laborer. Just look it up with any census and say we are farmers and we are laborers. We we can take care of everything. We can take care of ourselves, and we don't need to have this ideology covering everyone's souls with green and smothering us and making us feel like we're, worthless if we don't have it.
Do you think the housewives of Atlanta with 6-inch heels and 7-inch fingernails are going to want to move to Greenland?
They're going to want to move to, well, they already own Atlanta. They're going to want to move to, Manhattan.
Or they also want internet. They don't want reindeer.
I don't know.
Greenland, they can have ice blue dishwater.
Yeah, it's natural. The other thing about Greenland, though, is that it's going to have the methane gas because of climate change and the erosion of our glaciers. So we're going to have a larger amount of methane, and that's one of the worst things that we have looking forward to besides solar rays. But, our methane gas problem is going to get worse and worse because our glacier melt. And so Greenland is one of the first ones that's experiencing the warmth. They're losing glaciers like crazy.
Do you think animals farting is the biggest problem on the earth? I mean, do you think it would have destroyed the planet, all the animals farting all these years?
For methane, yes.
Good God.
I don't know. I just think that's the way God made it.
Right.
I think that's the way God made it. I don't. Yeah, I think that the fossil fuel stuff. Yeah, if we can cut that back, that's fine. But let's go Amish. But the Amish got the horses and the cattle. It's like God said it was good. He made it. It's like, yeah, this is good. Go. And he said, go be fruitful, multiply. He said, go fill up the earth. So fill it up with farts and things. We'll be fine.
And they are.
All right, John, remember in the old days how you said the show goes downhill after the first hour? How did we go from foreign policy to animals pooping?
I'm just the messenger.
No, in the old days, it used to be an hour and 15. Hour and 20 minutes, hour and 15, then it would go downhill. And now we are able to get used to usually about almost 2 hours.
That's why I wait the first hour to call in. I just come in from the big club.
Can I tell you guys a story I heard in group tonight?
You're lazy. You're just lazy.
Don, can I tell a story I learned in group therapy tonight?
Hell no.
So we were talking about, shut up. We were talking about wallets and wallets that get lost. And one of my friends in the group, he had to go number 2 bad. So he went on the side of the road in Arizona by a freeway and by an exit ramp. And he dropped his wallet. Then he drove 400 miles and realized he had to get gas. And luckily he put the gas under his visor. But he remembered where he dropped his wallet. So he called the sheriff's station in one city and then called the one back where he lost the wallet, and they found it. They found the wallet next to his poop. And then he had to drive back to Winslow, Arizona halfway to meet the female sheriff so she could give him the wallet back. But he had to describe to the sheriff department that he had poop next to the wallet.
Okay. You were talking about the generation of the show. That really does.
Well, I don't like the story because of the poop. What I do like about the story is that the law enforcement went out of their way for him. He wasn't even an Arizona resident at the time.
And that's the moral of the story.
What?
What's the moral of the story? Always carry a roll of toilet tissue?
He had paper towels in the truck and he wiped his ass with that. I told him the whole story was tacky, actually.
And you relived it.
I never pooped on the side of the. Actually, I did poop it on the road once.
Okay,
In Panorama City, I couldn't hold it, and in the middle of the street, I pulled my car over and went the big job.
Oh boy, Jane's finishing us off. We're sliding right down.
I was like, we can't get much farther than this.
Okay, let's change the topic now.
Okay, let's talk about peeing.
About what? Don't you say that word on my channel. Or I'm gonna knock you into yesteryear.
Come and get me. You know where I live.
Okay, Bianca, you think of a new topic.
Oh, go ahead, Pia.
Actually, I heard the Ukraine finally made it officially done that Russian oil would be no longer going to Europe. I did hear that.
And that's one of the main reasons why Russia needed Ukraine, and they made it the start of this war in the first place. So now we're back to square one, and we're going to get a new president and see where the money's going to flow, and that's going to be a whole new time.
A whole new ball game?
Ball game, yeah. But when we see what happens after in February with the funding, there could easily be a swing in the way things.
Well, isn't the cutoff of oil going to hurt Europe more than it hurts anyone else?
It'll hurt Poland, places like that, because they not only have nat gas, but they also have regular gas pipelines going to there, and the regular gas pipelines have to go all the way up through, I guess, Finland and through Poland. They have an alternative route, Austria and stuff like that. So they're going to have to change and make peace with all those people. And that's the problem, because quite a few of those countries, they're the enemies. They fight them. They used to fight them all the time. They're pretty peaceful now with each other.
Yeah, Finland went to war 3 times with Russia. They held them off every single time except for once. Russia got a chunk of their land. So, Bianca, are you still in the loop with us?
I love Putin.
You're a scary human being.
No. Is that for real?
Why do you like Putin? He kills his own people. He's corrupt, and if anyone tries to oppose him, they're dead too.
That's why he's a good leader.
Sometimes I think that you never went to college the way you talk.
No. Like I said, that there are times that he has to voice his position from his leaders. So that's something that could take that with a grain of salt.
He helped Bashar al-Assad terrorize Syria.
Well, I mean, I don't know, Bianchi, did you come from a dictatorial country?
He's Egyptian descent. He grew up in America.
I'm a third generation dictator.
I'm just wondering if I don't know his personal, his bio. So I don't know if where he comes from or what he did or.
He was born in America and he's Egyptian descent.
Okay, so the bottom line is that if he likes Putin, then that that communism is alive and well. And
well, I liked the Libyan dictator until the Clintons, Miss Clinton took him out.
Okay.
Well, we can all have our preferences.
I don't like anybody but me. I don't even trip.
And I like Fidel Castro.
Oh well, this God.
So I like Gaddafi and Fidel.
Communist too, so you're communist too.
I was a communist in the late 70s. I switched to socialism.
Right, well, Bianca's still communist, so what are we talking about?
No, he just has a perception problem.
That he's not a communist?
Joseph Broz Tito, it's
Oh my God.
Joseph Broz, B-R-O-Z Tito, was the best communist leader that ever lived. He ran Yugoslavia for 40 years, and every year their lives got better. They got better houses, better jobs, better pensions. And the reason Yugoslavia split up is because the Catholic Croatians hated the Serbian Muslims and started killing them, basically.
Just like John said, that's the normal evolution.
I don't expect the world to be the same forever, but I think Greenland's an odd target.
That's like everybody has just said, Jane, you're the only one who doesn't have a concept of what the capabilities
Nobody said that.
You know,
I said Bianchi was distorted for liking Putin.
Greenland. 85% of think it's 15 miles outside of Atlanta anyway.
Okay, Greenland, one thing Greenland does have, it's a huge continent. It's probably the size of a third of the US, if not more.
And I think that it has huge natural gas deposits.
And it's right next to Canada, and it's not that far from Iceland.
Exactly.
No, if Trump wants Greenland that bad, he better stick with NATO. Because if he takes Greenland and cuts off NATO, they're coming for his butt.
Yeah, and their black cousins would be in Nova Scotia.
Yep.
I have a lot of black friends.
There.
I have a lot of black friends from Canada.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my Jamaican roommate is from Canada. His ethnicity is Jamaican, but his nationality is Canadian.
There's a whole lot of.
John, what happened to you? Did you die in the fire?
No, I walked into this store from heaven. It's a 777 store in LA, kind of Midwest, La Brea. They've got everything, Jane. Anything you need. Like you're looking for a guy to marry, he probably has it here. Every tool you can think of. It's crazy. It's like a 7-Eleven, but on steroids.
Is it like the 99?
I'm serious.
Is it like the 99-cent store, but one step up?
He's got tools I can like oh, I need to get this, but I go to the store, Ralph's doesn't have it, like save on it. He's got it. He makes keys. He's making a key.
Well, then it's a hardware store, right?
It's disguises. He has things that women can wear and guys can wear. It's
You act like you just walked. You just act like you walked in from Pluto. What's so unusual about that?
It's like it's not like a convenience store chain where they have to stop. It's like a dude that like a guy like me. Like you're gonna need a drain pan. You're gonna need serrated scissors. You're gonna need lighter fluid. He probably has a grenade launcher, but plus ice cream. Any kind of ice cream you want, he's got it here.
In the back of the room, he probably does have a grenade launcher.
He's old school, Does he have a missile?
What country is he from?
I'll find out. But he's got like stuff like how it's not like stuff that's printed nationally on a chain. It's like he handwrites. Like these are special coffee, whatever. Like old school. Like when you grew up, like the guy at the corner, he's got everything.
Right. Where's it?
Where's we lost that?
Where's it at, John?
Oh, I'm sorry. You said where's he from?
Where is it at? Where's the store?
It's at La Brea and maybe kind of like Venice, kind of right around there.
Does he have a taser for your unwanted girlfriends?
No, but anybody else that comes in, I bet he has a gun for it. But
He's had two girls come in here to get stuff. They're smoking hot.
They're out of your league, Bubba.
Totally.
Just let your girlfriend hear that. Your life will be done.
John doesn't have a girlfriend anymore.
No, I don't have a girlfriend.
You got rid of her, or she got rid of you?
Both.
I'm in girlfriend central.
He has a brother that's his roommate.
Oh, yeah. He's doing right here.
I hope that's not
Doable. This key is out. Okay? Okay. You can help her out, yeah. And how much is the soda? It's very. Appreciate your patience. Don't worry about it. It's okay. I'm happy to be here.
She sounds like she's from New York.
You're shocked. We don't have stores like
She's
this.
exotic.
Well, that's like, over like, I've been in Santa Monica for 30 years, and then I've been living now in mid-Wilshire. I help you the bus.
Can we say hi to somebody in the store?
Ace Hardware and 7-Eleven and everything. It's a guy store.
Can we say hi to someone in the store?
Toys. Store about clothes. Children. Yeah. It's a man store. Oh, so you're saying? Let me explain. This one, when I saw that the key, temporary right now, it's called KW10. I saw that right away. I know I'm out of that key. But I know how I do that. So you could do, I did it. It's the same thing. It's just a longer and this. So it should be works, everything. So this is for you. Don't know. You don't have to pay. It's something like, but I'll bring the KW10 and we out. Right? Hope it heck with nuclear weapons because you have everything else. What's your name?
Don't scare him, John.
And I ask only because I'm talking on a radio talk. So they want to know, like, where are you from India or Bangladesh? See, he's got game. Mo from Bangladesh. Oh, Johnny Rock. I do video. I'll come back out with the car and everything. I do music. I play at the pier and the promenade. I'm going to Nairobi to play gospel. I play at the pier in Hollywood Boulevard. Perform guitar, sing. I'm going to go to Nairobi, Kenya in a couple months, and then later, Cebu, Philippines this year. Playing all that stuff. Yeah, I'll come back. I'll send you my stuff. I'm all talk, but
You told me you ran out of money, John.
Of course, but hey, that's how we roll. You just have to do it. There's always never going to have the money. Oh, wow.
Life is pretty
You guys
stressful.
need a jump?
Not from you.
Do you still need a jump? Are you good? Okay. Cool. All right. They're having it looks like a block party, but they're jumping a car in the parking lot. Crazy.
Can I be excused?
Mo gave me the key, and I had to make a key for me. He gave it to me. He's like, just stab it. This guy's so cool.
That's nice in a city like that.
He's like a brother. I'm going to ask him if I can live there.
Why? You already have a nice place.
Yeah, but we don't have girls coming in and out. He's got they're like kind of semi-ghetto. So there are these sisters that are like, they could be like in a video or like a strip club.
Don't describe women nicely on my YouTube channel, please.
I didn't use any profanity. It's a video or a strip club. It gives you a good picture. Okay, they're curvaceous. How about that? They're delightful young women.
That's fine.
Okay, there you go. And the other ones, they just look like, hoes. They're not so good. Skanky.
Hoes over bros.
Oh, well, tonight, you can have it all.
Is that a household appliance that's usually used outside?
Yeah, like we were talking about earlier that Zuckerberg said women can be called household objects.
No, we shouldn't do that.
Okay.
We'll respect them.
Zuckerberg said it's all right.
Well,
Oh, the Jew?
who owns YouTube and Google?
Google's used to be Page and Sergey Brin. I think he got out of it, and then YouTube is it's her sister owns 23andMe, and the other, and they're hooked up with everyone. It's like this power trio. They're all like in the same bed. It's crazy.
Well, Google is my lifesaver. I can send Lauren anonymous videos. I have 4 book scripts in my Google Drive.
We're doomed.
I can
We're doomed.
I can download my scripts to an EPUB and then upload them to Amazon. So Google's my lifesaver.
But the problem is Google's going to go AI, and AI is robot algorithms. It's not trustworthy.
Did you know I saw a website that said that pick a topic and you can write your book through AI? It's like,
right.
Who wants to do that? Writing books is supposed to be original.
Well, the problem you're going to run into 2 problems. One is you can't negotiate with a robot, and by that I mean humans have humanity. So when you need some humanity, you can talk to a human. Like you can cry, right, and say, "Listen, my son broke his ankle," or my wife's left me. Give me a break. I'm 5 minutes late at the post office, right? And a human will go, dude, I'll let you in. An algorithm's going to go, you are late. You cannot enter. I talked to a Karen. I went to the post office, and it was 5 after 5. I had to go across town, and I knew I couldn't get in, right? But I know that there's usually people till 5:15 going out, and as they're going out, I only needed to get into the main lobby where the P.O. boxes were. So when one came out, I went in, and I got in. I knew I could do it. I know the move. I was only 5 minutes late. The point is, because I didn't pick up the mail in like a month, it was filled. It was overfilled. So they had a note in there that said, overflow, we can't fit all your mail, so go to the counter. And, there's only like 3 people left, and this chick's watching the door into the counter stuff. And I walked towards her and I said, I got a note here. Can I? And she's like, and she's there with a smile like, oh, you can come back tomorrow. Now, it's like, yeah, but the reason I have this note is because I can't get here all the time. And imagine if I worked during the day where I couldn't come over, like I worked, because they're open from 9 to 5. So imagine I work downtown and I have to leave at 7 and I don't get back till 6:30, and it's impossible. And all I have is the weekend from 9 to 3 or 10 to 3. The point is, humanity would say, I'll let you, it's only going to take 30 seconds to get your freaking mail, and I pay for it. No, she went robot, with her answer. And that's the problem with these AI is because they're going to go robot. A guy got stuck yesterday in his Waymo, and the car was locked, and he was late to the airport, and it started going in a circle like a donut. Something happened, it fritzed out, and he couldn't get out. He had to call Waymo and go, I'm stuck in this car, and I'm getting dizzy, it's going in a circle, and I'm going to miss my plane. That's the difference. Yeah, sure, a human might have a heart attack and collapse on you, but the point is, if he's conscious, he's going to say, stop going in a circle, right? But the robot, it's an algorithm. It just keeps going in a circle.
Could he put his hands on the steering wheel and try to fix it?
No, you can't control. And I don't know if his was steering wheelless. The new ones still have no steering wheel and no brake pedal. And maybe he felt if he grabbed the wheel, he couldn't get the brake pedal and he would hit a building. I don't know. Because he has those algorithms that go like, don't hit this, don't hit that. So it's just going in a circle safely. That's robot.
That's a funny story in a way, but kind of sad too.
Very sad.
I saw Waymos in San Francisco when I was up there.
I want to see way less.
They're only in certain cities. Well, you guys, I'm going to end the show now because we've been on the air 75 minutes. And Janessa has to work tomorrow.
Yeah, and plus I got to talk to some of these hoes before they leave the park.
I also have minor surgery tomorrow. So
oh, no, what are they doing?
they're putting like an orthoscopic thing up my vajayjay.
Oh, boy.
Is that true, Robot?
It's a robot. I hope it doesn't take the wrong turn.
Do they have one that's long enough?
Kiss off! I'm not telling you the reason why they're dipping in there.
Oh yeah, well it comes out with yellow stuff, actually.
Ew! Now I'm gonna have to. Now I'm gonna edit the last 5 minutes of the show.
They're searching for alien life form.
So
They're
I'm
looking for illegals.
John. I have a secret to tell you about Lauren. I'll tell you after I hang up. Goodbye, evil children.
All right, have a good one. Hello, bye, everybody.
Bye bye.
Happy New Year.
Yep.